All right, welcome back to the Joe LaRosa Show, and I am excited to have not only one of my newest partners, but actually an old dear friend, Mike Lwin here, who's actually one of the owners of Red Door Title. So welcome to the show, Mike.
Glad to be here.
And listen, we're excited to have you here. So, I always kind of joke, so there's a reason why I haven't gotten into politics, and it's probably because a lot of the things that Mike and I did many years ago. But now it's cool, man, how everything kind of comes full circle. And, we talked about it even like a couple of years ago, saying, hey, we got to find a way to do business together.
100%. 100%. Yeah. We actually I kind of grew up together in Kissimmee. Yeah. Deal. It's,
had a mutual good friend that,
Mutual good friend. Yeah. Who's still in our lives and
Absolutely.
Stuff like that. And it's been an interesting to look where we've gone in those times and what you've accomplished, what I've accomplished. It's just, it's profounding. It's super
I'll
awesome.
never forget the time where, I forget where I was, but someone was talking about, there's this title company, Nona Title, in Lake Nona, and, they're doing all these really cool things. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's cool, right? And they said, the owner is this guy named Mike. And all right, guy named Mike, right? And then when I saw your picture, I'm like, is that Mike? Is that the Mike that I know? So, I mean, it is kind of cool.
I did the same thing on the flip side because I was like, oh, my God. Joe really got into real estate because when we were kids, right, 19, 20 years old, your dad always wanted you to be in real estate.
Yeah, he did.
And you went the police route, and he hated it, but he supported your dreams and ambitions as far as that. And I was like, LaRosa, what? They're running it?
Yeah, man.
Awesome. It's so cool to see the story.
Yeah. So listen, so tell all of our folks that are watching kind of a little bit about yourself, kind of like your story. What got you to where you are today? Talking about from when we were in those early years, right? Or, 19, 20, or early 20s, getting us now to kind of where we are today as business owners and really trying to become leaders now in this real estate industry.
Yeah, I'll keep the skeletons in the closet. We'll skip over some of the sections as far as that. But no, born and raised in Kissimmee, really got into it. And really when you're a kid and you're kind of growing up and stuff like that, you kind of ambitions and things like that. And as your father was always wanting to push you one way, my father always wanted me. He's like, you're going to be a lawyer. You're going to do that. Lawyers and doctors are what make this world go round. I was like, okay, Dad. But, my thing has always been entrepreneurship. So when I was 21, I started my first businesses, which were the gun shops.
Right, yeah.
And I had a gun shop. I had a gun range. And the great thing about that business is it catapulted me to be able to really meet business people in the industry and some of those other aspects. And I continue to pursue that dream, law school. So I did graduate law school here in Orlando too. So the title thing was just me getting along in that, meeting people in that business. I met developers. Then I started getting involved with some development stuff. Right. Nothing crazy, more of the financial side of it, to where I would oversee some of the projects and stuff like that. And really that started pushing me into this industry to where one day someone, at that time was like, hey, this title game. And I was like, I don't know anything about title. I knew contract law. I knew formation. I knew a lot of that aspect of it. And they were like, and then I started learning about the title. I was like, oh, that's just cool. So you're kind of the end part, the one that puts it all together as far as that. It's not a right off in the sunset and make a whole lot of money by any means. It's a cool gig, and you touch every single contract, every single formation and stuff like that. And so about 7 or 8 years ago, we formed Nona Title, and Nona Title was formed. Really, the name was because I lived in Lake Nona, and the first office was over that way. So that's kind of how I got started into it. That's kind of where it took off from there. This was never, when I first started it, I just looked at it as another entrepreneurship type opportunity. I don't think I really looked at it like this was going to be like my main gig and stuff. Yeah. I thought it was just going to be another, own it, put people in charge, and then kind of manage and stuff like that. And it just skyrocketed. It took off, and now it's my full-time gig and everything else. And so that's the Nona Title. It will go into the name change later on. I don't know if you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, we will. So listen. We're excited to be able to have you guys now as partners, and really, we saw immediately that you were in total alignment with kind of what our vision was, for the future, right? So, obviously we want to make a big splash, not only here in the state of Florida, but we want to go nationwide. And we've been able to do that to some extent, but now we're really going to be able to do that now as we become a publicly traded company and be able to have some amazing opportunities behind us, or, resources behind
100%.
us to be able to achieve these opportunities. So, tell the folks that are watching, kind of a little bit about kind of what keeps you kind of focused, on a daily basis. How do you stay, really kind of driven to what your goals are and to be able to be successful, at what you do?
I think trying to set that example kind of in the office and stuff like that. We have 3 offices now, and really trying to be present and be in those moments as far as that. Yes, we have our business development reps that are out there. We have our processor closer teams and stuff like that, and we've grown it to a pretty large operation where we're 15 to 20 employees usually at any time and stuff, and just being present and stuff like that. So what I try to focus on are these high level kind of connections, friendships, agreements to kind of come together as far as that, very similar to our kind of situation, and try to oversight and oversee and everything else, and then kind of focus on the growth and try to find out what does that client, what are they looking for? What are we trying to do that can be different and set ourselves apart?
Yeah. So, I mean, this may be kind of the answer to this next question, but, talk about, so as a business owner, we're going to go through ups and downs, right? So I know COVID was a great example of a huge, moment of uncertainty. And,
100%.
A lot of us kind of went through this, little phase of not knowing if we were going to be able to kind of survive within the next 60, 90 days, right? So, and then now is, you look at January 1st, I always make this joke, January 1st of 2022, where was your mindset compared to where you were on September 1st of 2022? It was like the whole world changed, right?
Correct.
And so the market shifted almost overnight, and so on. So as a business owner, how have you been able to continue to push forward and to be able to still be able to achieve goals and not go through, this moment of, just fear that allows that to kind of take over your business?
So 100%, I think the first thing is stay positive, right? You have to look at the positive outlooks and drive yourself in a positive direction. If you go in there in the crash and burn scenario and everything else, and we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, still to this day, we try to forecast and I read a bunch of financial analysis, all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, nobody knows. It's a guess. It's a guess as far as that. And just like the COVID freaked out, right? But going into the workforce, staying positive as far as that, staying in front of the people and letting them know that, hey, look, this is a cycle. Your parents went through this cycle.
Right.
Everybody went through this cycle. Interest rates back in the day were 15%.
Exactly.
And that was awesome. Our parents have 15% interest rates. They're like, oh my God, we're doing it, and they're buying houses and stuff. And so
the very first house that I bought, my interest rate was 6.5%.
Correct.
And
correct.
It's all right, people were freaking out.
To the sixes. But this
is
fine. This is attainable. Yes, your DTIs and what they can afford changes.
Sure,
I get that because with the prices homes in our area increasing and stuff like that, it definitely changes what you can buy. But this isn't a bad situation and a bad scenario to be in.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. So let me ask you this. There's a lot of folks that are out there that like to kind of become their forecasters of what's going to happen in the real estate market and the industry. Where do you go for, as a business owner, where do you go to be able to kind of get your information so that you can make the right decisions moving forward, as a leader within your industry?
I think the best thing to do is just listen, right? Listen to a lot of these people. Our market is definitely different because this is the first time where not only Wall Street's been kind of with us and pyramided and everybody's in the same situation. It's never been that way.
Right.
So it's definitely so I try not to directly listen. So I'll listen to multiple different avenues, but a lot of it's like watching the Wall Street stuff to see what's going on there. And then really just trying to look. The thing about title is we're kind of the last ones to see where the market's going. It's you and these big teams and these big companies that can see 3 months, 6 months down the road, what's happening, and then I'll get my intel. So I try to reach out to a lot of the big teams, see, hey, how are your numbers looking? How are the numbers looking from last? How is your listings looking? How is that? And then we try to look at the MLS, what's on market, how fast are they staying on, and try to look at a lot of that stuff too. Yeah.
Well, I'll say this, not to get into too much detail, but we're seeing within La Rosa already now kind of a little bit of an uptick in transactions. And I think that's also now where people are starting to kind of settle down. And I saw this happen really around I would say the end of the spring last year, where rates started to really then spike. And a lot of folks took a time out. So, whoa, let's kind of feel this out. And then for about 2 or 3 weeks, it was kind of really quiet. And then it picked back up. And then rates went back up again. And then we had that another 2 or 3 week phase of kind of let's kind of feel this out. So I think now through the holidays and now, through the new year, I think folks are now starting to kind of feel comfortable where things are going. We're seeing, inflation is now starting to come down. So
which is positive, huge.
That's a good thing, right?
Yes,
so, as long as that number keeps coming down, the 30-year treasury keeps coming down, rates will keep coming down and so on. And I think we're never going to probably get down to the 2% interest rates again.
Yes,
but
correct.
But you know what? I think we'll probably be around the 4 to 5s, and I think that's going to be kind of a new normal market. And
yeah, which is fine. I think that's a solid number to stay at. And the people in our industry and the catchphrase that has been going around, which at first I joked around about it, but I'm susceptible to it, is marry the home, date the rate.
Yeah, listen, I stole that from somebody.
Look, I stole it too.
About don't take your information from social media, but I did on that
true.
one.
And I did the same thing. Look, I'm building a home right now, and I'm in a ridiculous adjustable rate mortgage, but I know that I wanted this home. We want to build this home. And in 2 years, I'll refinance out of it. The rates will stabilize where you're at. And this is what I'm saying. If you find a home and it's something you enjoy and you dreamed of, and buy that home. If you fell in love with the home, buy the home. Yeah. You can always refinance it later on after the fact.
No, listen, we were talking about this the other day too, because you just did the closing on our house.
Yes,
where
correct.
I bought a house a year ago. I assumed a mortgage, and it was going to basically be up within a year. So I had to refinance. Now, my dumb butt should have refinanced a year ago. As soon as I bought the house, I got lazy. I've been busy. I shouldn't say lazy. I've been busy, obviously. I just never got around to refinancing. And now that I had to refinance at the end, I'm like, this is the rate? Are you kidding me? But, listen, it is what it is. And I know that, probably in about a year or so, I'll be able to kind of refinance and get in a more comfortable.
And it will be. And that's kind of been my scenario. Look, I signed for a 7.03 adjustable rate mortgage.
Yeah.
So how do you like them apples?
Listen, I'm not gonna share what mine is, but mine's higher than that. So but crazy stuff. So let's talk about the transition so when you went from Nona title to Red Door, what made you go in that
great question. So remember when Nona was started back in the days, I never, like I said, what I would go back to is I never saw this like this was going to be my main gig. So I was like, side hustle, we'll open up a Nona office, get some business, make some money, great. Then it expanded, right? And so no issues. We expanded into there at Waterford Lakes. We had the office over there, Lake Nona, and then we had St. Cloud. And we started getting attention to go out towards Tampa. Yeah. And when we went out to Tampa, we're like, a Nona title. And they're like, Nona what? And I'm like, Nona title. And so it's not that I wasn't married to the name. Like, at the end of the day, you have to be willing to listen and change if you have to. And the biggest thing that we saw over there was they didn't like the name. And I said, great, let's do a small, not a big focus group, just a small focus group, run some names around. And they came up with the name Red Door Title. Yeah. And at first I was like, interesting, the great thing about that name is it allows us to expand anywhere.
Sure.
But then I started looking at what the meaning of Red Door Title was. And that's where I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. So, and just to go very basic, streamlined, is the physical color of Red Door is not only long history of that in our kind of our history as far as that, not only back in like biblical days to where during the bubonic plague, you would paint red on the door to ward off evil spirits and stuff like that. So then it started getting into like good feng shui, red, positive energy, things like that. And then in Europe, when you pay off your house, you paint your front door red. So there was a lot of cool positive things about it. And I was like, let's do it. Let's run with it. And so we originally were just going to run Red Door in Tampa.
Right.
Then I got back not thinking, right, putting the cart before the horse and going, oh my God, Chosky items, double Chosky items for two companies.
Absolutely.
When the phone rings, is it a Red Door phone call? Or is it a Nona phone call? Because we have an 800 number, who's calling? Because it's the same number comes in, are we picking up? So then we just said, we went to some of our big teams and like, hey, if we rebranded our name to Red Door, what is your thoughts? And they were like, we like it. Yeah. It's cool. It's great. And I was like, done. So that was it. Immediately within 30, 60 days, we rebranded everything as Red Door Title and never looked back.
Cool, man. So, all right, don't laugh. Next time you come to my house, I may paint my door red.
Give Red Door.
That's pretty cool.
It's it definitely is.
Yeah. So, listen, we're excited now as we get ready to kind of, launch, and be able to kind of continue to expand our operations across the United States. Our goal is to be able to take you along with us and have now Red Door become, a national entity.
Household name. Yeah,
absolutely. So, all right, cool. Let me ask you another question. So talk to me about when, you're out there working and you're kind of dealing with folks that are just kind of maybe a little bit negative. How do you as a business leader and owner, how do you deal with that crap? Because I have to always feel like I'm coming across like a jerk at times when I'm like, listen, I don't want your negativity. I don't want your shit right now. Stay away. I need to keep myself focused. what do you do? Because in this time of, we're seeing things get better,
Yes.
but there's still uncertainty. So how do you deal with that?
And I hate to use the word again, just stay positive with them as far as that. You try to give them the tools and the aspects of them. What are you doing that's not been working, or why? I try to look at why. What are they so disgruntled about, or what is it as far as that? Is it the leads? Are you putting the extra work in and stuff like that? Like at the end of the day, I can only try to help them with the tools and try to be positive around them to say that, because we see it, like, as you said, just in the last month, we've seen a little bit of uptick, which has been super positive. So we try to say, like, look, this is a short time. This is a temporary type of situation, and it will turn around. And it actually, I think, it started to shift sooner. We still hear some of the people saying, oh, no, it's just going to go through this year and it's not going to get better till the next. But I don't think that. I'm, like I said, maybe it's me staying positive as far as that, but I try to run them to say, hey, look, we're already having an uptick this year.
Yeah.
I would think that our hopefully that our market's at the bottom, right? If you had a bunch of money, everybody's going to tell you to buy right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put money in the stock market as far as that. And whether that's the right answer or wrong answer, I don't know that answer, but I'm staying positive on it. And I think hopefully we're at the bottom here and we're going to start seeing some stabilization. You'll still get the fluctuation like anything on a day-to-day business, but I think we'll start seeing some stabilization, but just trying to stay positive and positive energy in front of those folks.
Well, listen, one of the things that we have to really, as leaders, we have to kind of, be mindful of and really be able to kind of pass this along to all the folks that, we are able to really connect to, is that, listen, just stay away from find the real data, find the real information. Don't get all your stuff from here and here and here and all of it. A lot of folks love like fear-based marketing.
Doom and gloom.
They want to scare the shit out of you, saying like, listen, like the market's going to crash. We're going to see this is going to be the worst year ever. Like invest into this program now so that you can be secure. I think folks kind of have to look past that and kind of just stay focused. And so, I think that's probably, one of the most important things that we as leaders can do, going into this new year. So, let's on a positive note, let's keep the positive momentum there.
For sure.
What's one thing that you're excited about now, as this new year is starting to kind of, take place?
Well, honestly, looking back at you, I'm excited about the IPO.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the potential of what that's going to be. And, not only, like, everybody's being very cautious on growth and growing the business right now and picking and choosing your battles of how we're going to do it. But it's all positive stuff, right?
Man.
Having those decisions and having that ability to be able to look at that, having the ability to look at this potential to take potentially this nationwide too, is huge. What other, it's just exciting.
Yeah. No, we're super excited. What's the saying that I've always gotten from Tony Robbins over the years is, if you're going to take the island, you're going to burn the boats. Right. So
stay there.
Yeah.
So, this is it. Nothing else
we are focused. We're excited. It's about to happen. Who knows? Probably by the time this episode even airs, it would have already happened. And so, we're just excited that we get to have you kind of, come along with us here and to really be able to take Red Door.
No, I appreciate the opportunity. And it's when we talked about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I just wasn't in a position. We just, like I said, and then now to be able to do this has just been, it's been awesome.
Timing is everything.
Timing is everything.
Right? And that's honestly another great example where sometimes we get frustrated because something doesn't work in that moment. And I think kind of our story is a good example of, you just got to trust the process. You got to trust, the big man upstairs, and, there's a plan for all of us, and you just got to stay focused, keep doing your thing, and things are going to fall into place that are meant to fall into place. And here we are now, having the opportunity to really make some history.
And stay positive. It's just one day, one meeting can change your life.
Oh, yeah.
I try to say that to
one
people.
One
conversation can change your life. So if you walk around moping and you're negative in the market and you're doom and gloom and stuff like that, people don't want to be around you.
Yeah.
So stay positive. Yeah. You can put it in the back burner and be like, wow, this is my last paycheck or whatever it is, or running low on savings. I get it, but you stay positive. That positive energy will bring around positive people around you. And who knows? You make a conversation with somebody, it could turn into a huge contract, huge deal, this, that, agreements. That's the way I looked at it.
I probably should have started off the show with this, but this guy always like outdressing me. So in our last get together, he was actually in jeans.
You beat me.
And I was like, all right. So I was kind of a little bit more dressed up. I'm gonna see Mike. I got to be a little bit more professional. And this guy comes out with his vest. And
this is a product of, probably a product of law school and a product of whenever I used to, because I did do an intern at the state attorney's office and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to be in any meeting not underdressed.
Yeah.
I wanted to be overdressed because at the end of the day, at least the person I was meeting, who was probably more important than me, was at least giving me respect. Like, wow, this dude really dressed up to come meet me. And that was always, I laugh as far as that.
Well, hey, that's a good lesson.
That was just me. It doesn't mean anything. No, because I got friends that.
Yeah. So good example, bad example, because at times I'll show up to meeting in a t-shirt and,
Well, you're more important than me, so I have to be overdressed on you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, listen, Mike, man, it was fun having you on.
I really appreciate it. Enjoy it anytime.
I look forward to, we'll definitely have you on again, and we'll be able to kind of share, more of our success that we're going to have here together in this new year. So
definitely
appreciate it. So
exciting.
Those of you that are watching, thank you again for watching this episode here, and we'll see you on the next show at the Joe LaRosa Show. Take care.
Thank you.